Well, first thing I'd like to congratulate Metro. DC is one of my favorite coaches. I think he does a great job. I love the way their kids compete. I think they have a model program for all the teams in our league, and I think they've really helped to raise the level of play probably in our league. Second thing, I was really proud of my guys, proud of their effort. I thought they battled. I hope our season's not over. You know, we'll have to wait for the television show on Sunday to see what they do with the region. It doesn't look good now, but funnier things have happened, I guess. About the game, I thought for about 24 minutes we were clearly the better team, and then we had to finish the game. But let's give them credit. They have guys who've all played in big games. You know, Mitch and Kay have played for a national championship. They've been played in the semifinals a couple times, so they have experience in big games. We're still climbing the hill. This is our first time even being a shootout. So there's a lot of firsts by our teams, but I'm proud of our guys. Senior Jed's played for 6 years, counting the medical red shirt and the regular red shirt, and he's been through the bad and the awful and the good and the great. And he was here. He was part of the last team that actually beat Metro on this floor, and he's always done a great job. And Bronson's, I've said from the beginning, one of the best players in the league. So I'm glad they're sitting here beside me. And but I was proud of my kids' effort. But I was not surprised that Metro would play hard in the second half. I thought we'd be better, but we weren't. But, you know, that's the night of basketball, isn't it? One night, first half, we shot 7 for 13. Second half, we were 2 for 15 from 3. And we're still learning, but I think this will be a great experience for us to build on. If we can get into the region, it will help us get better for that. And if we can't, then it'll make us better for next year. Sorry, Mr. Danner. Apologize. I thought they D'd up. I thought we were very good in execution in the first half. Under the pressure they put on us, I did not think we executed as well. But I also thought this. I thought the key to the first half was we did a great job rebounding. They only had 3 offensive rebounds in the first half. They ended up with 7 in the second half. I thought as the game became more physical, it became a game that favored them. But I thought that their defensive pressure, I thought our inability to execute against pressure was showing in the second half. But, you know, that comes from experience. No, I thought we guarded better. We talked about this. Listen, the last time Metro lost was the game they played us before we came here and beat them. They beat us by 25 on our home court. So I think with DC you always have to make adjustments because he's such a great coach and their team is so disciplined. I thought we played more zone this time. I thought that hurt them in the first half. I thought that our kids were much better blocking out in the first half. So we changed. We changed some, but really I thought our game here the first time we were sort of embarrassed. I mean, the second game of the season here, the one they beat us bad, I just thought we wilted. And that was our first bad game. You know, we'd won 8 in a row. And that was really our first bad game. And we didn't make shots, and things didn't go our way, and I think we got distracted. And I think that's a sign of a young team. You just got to have more poise. And at some point, even tonight, and you could see this, when they started their run, we really didn't have the ability to dig in and say, no, not this time. We're going to get stop after stop after stop. And we just didn't have that in us, and we're going to have to cultivate that as a coach. I've got to do a better job probably cultivating that, but we didn't change that much. I think it was probably harder for Metro to prepare for us than it was for us to prepare for Metro, right? You beat somebody by 25, and it's hard to tell your kids, hey, they're really a good team. So, my hat's off to DC. I thought he had his kids very well prepared, and I thought it was a great game.
Yeah, I wouldn't say the defensive pressure I felt a little bit more, but they definitely attacked the glass. Every time you looked, I think DC definitely told them, get on the boards, because every time Nick or Will or one of them was crashing, and if they wasn't getting the rebound, they was tipping it back up. So, I mean, sometimes the stats are a little deceiving, and they made some great hustle plays, and those little hustle plays add up at the end.
No, not really, but I want to tell you something. This is, and you understand, I've just barely looked at the stats, but one of our keys was we really wanted to guard Nick and Mitch a little bit better, and I'm looking, they got 26 and 23. So obviously they stepped up their game. In the first half, I thought we did a great job of guarding them without putting them on the foul line.
Hard to say if that was really a turning point in the game. At any point in the game when you're playing a team like that, you have to keep fighting. And I guess you could say that after that they did kind of take off on us a little bit. But it wasn't for any lack of fight that we had or any lack of effort. We just we didn't make as many shots as we needed to, and they made a lot of plays when they did need to. So that really ended up being the difference in the game. Well, first of all, to pick ourselves up, we need a little bit of help from the region and all that. So that would be the first thing we'd need to dust ourselves off with. But yeah, I mean, all you can do there is get back in the gym. I mean, we got a lot of guys that shoot the ball really well, and you're not going to go 1 of 7 too many halves with that many guys that can shoot. And we're pretty confident in that. We've been confident in that all year. So guys have slumps, teams have slumps, and hit one in the bad time in the second half, and it's just how it goes. Sometimes that's basketball.
Yeah, I can give you a bunch of statistics. If you look at the region rankings, here's what you do. You match up in the last region ranking 1 through 8 and take Midwestern and ask them how many wins do they have against teams in the top 8. Texas Commerce, who beat Tarleton today, that's only their second win against any teams in the top 10 in the region. We have 5. But yet they were ahead of us when it was 4-1. So, and I think it's the region ranks, and someone have to address who's the expert, because I'm not. Eric might be able to address it. But they base so much on the power rating for who you play. I can't control who we play. We play our conference schedule. My out-of-conference schedule was 3 Lone Star teams. That's supposed to be I played Midwestern. I played West Texas. They're supposed to be the best teams. And so I don't know how I could make my preseason schedule any tougher than it was. So I don't what it really says to me is, if it ends up that our team has more region wins than other teams that are going, then the only way we're ever going to get there is to make sure we're in the top 2. And we've got to do that. Let's admit that's one of our goals, is to win a championship. I'm glad to go to the region. And really the region is more important than winning the RMAC championship in a lot of ways as your first step, because you can't win a national championship unless you get to the region. Tarleton loses tonight in the tournament, but they're in the region. Mine loses in the tournament, but they're co-champions, but they're in the region. And the only way you get a chance to win a national championship is to be in that region. So we've got to – the fault lies with us. We've got to do a better job, and obviously 7 games might be too many, or 8 to lose. So we've got to do something special ourselves, and we're going to hold ourselves accountable for that. But it is mystifying for a guy who's just been in the NC2A 4 years how you could have more region wins than other teams that are supposed to be the power ratings, and your region wins against the top teams and rated in the region, and yet you could be left out of the region. That seems bizarre to me, but remember, I'm an old, bald, fat coach who's just been coaching too long. But I wanted to say something about the threes. We were 2 for 15 in the second half, according to this stat chart, not 1 for 7, and we were 2 for 15 in the second half. And let's give them credit. I thought they did a great job of taking away threes. First half, we got a lot of open looks. Second half, we didn't get quite too many. And those statistics are a little skewed because we had to launch we had to throw some up at the end. But I thought, let's give Metro credit. They deserve all the credit in the world because they're a great team who raised their level. And we tried. It was not – I thought I was really proud of our game we lost the other night. I wasn't proud of our effort. And none of us were happy with the effort where we got slaughtered here. But I was proud of our effort tonight. We just couldn't raise it enough to get back to it. We had it to 7, and Porter hits I think we had it to 5. And Porter hits the big 3 from the right side, a guy who's not really a three-point shooter. And then I think they had one more. And then Rayer hits the other 3. They went back-to-back threes on us, and that separated again where it sort of took it out of play. But I think our three-point shooting is because they played great defense. Well, first thing is, let's talk about the guys. Tyrone Marshall, all-conference player this year, averaged 6 points a game in junior college when he came to our place. 6 points and 5 rebounds. Really improved. One of the hardest workers you had to tell you from last year to this year. It's incredible, his work ethic, how it improved and increased. And he's been a great kid to coach. He will always be one of my favorite kids for the person he became while he was with us. Just a phenomenal guy. Devontae Malcolm might be the most unselfish kid I've ever been around for a guy who could have been griping about all his playing time. Last year he started almost every game, and this year he came off the bench, and even tonight he's 2 for 6 and only played 16 minutes. Great shooter, had over 110 threes in junior college. Just a great player, but unselfish, never griped, never came to my office, complained about his playing time, not one time. Just a great kid. And Jed will always be special. 6 years, he's been through it all, and he is the epitome of a guy who wants it so bad. He's a self-made player. His dad's a famous coach in Colorado, but Jed's work ethic is what made him into the player he is. And this year he gave up a lot of personal, maybe things he could have done for the welfare of our team. Last year he probably could have scored more points and had a bigger part if he hadn't been injured. But this year he gave up a lot of what he could do offensively to get shots for other people and played really unselfish. And you saw him. I mean, he got up to block. I thought his head was as high as the rim on that block shot with Kay. It was a great – I mean, he's a phenomenal – and he's done that a couple times with block shots. But I got nothing but love for my seniors. But, like I told them, we went in the locker room. I didn't want to say this last game. I got hopes. Let's keep hope alive. Mr. President, where are you? Make a call for the coach. I don't think so. I don't know. Angelo State lost 2 of their last 3 games in their conference. I don't know. We played. I'd say, you mean the fact that we lost twice to Metro at the end of the season, that's losing momentum? I'd say we lost to the best team in our conference twice. Other than that, we'd run the table. So what did we win? 9 of our last 11. And that includes beating Fort Lewis at Fort Lewis, Adams at Adams, Fort Lewis again. We have more wins against 20-win teams than any team in those region rankings, I think. You'd have to look at to see and check me. I wish Mesa would have won one more because they're at 19. That would have been another win over 20. But, listen, those things are out of your control. The thing you control is if you can win. And as I look back at the season, we lost at Chadron to a team that was really hot one night when we just had an off night. But you guys understand how basketball is. It's a game of nights. That's what makes it better than football, better than baseball. On one night, any basketball team can beat another team. If the stars align and guys are on fire, you can't stop them. And we played terrible at Chadron. Let's give them all the credit in the world. Black Hills. Metro goes to double overtime to beat them. UCCS beats them by 1. They had Mesa down 28 in the second half and lost in overtime. We're down 9 with 3 minutes and 23 seconds left at their place and win the game. And that started our sort of roll where all of a sudden we rolled up on some teams. But I would say 9 out of 11 with the only 2 losses we had to Metro, I'd say we finished probably as good as anybody in the country. The only thing could have been better is if we could have won tonight. I think that if we would have won tonight and they didn't put us in the region, it would have been a shame on the region. But, the way it is, we lost, and we'll have to live with whatever they do. But I don't have any say nor any pull except that we're going to keep hope alive and dream about it. But thank you for asking those questions.